New Ed 4 U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement deportation agents can now arrest immigrants at or near sensitive locations like schools, places of worship, shelters, and even food distribution sites.
That's after the Trump administration revoked a Biden-era memo that prohibited agents from those locations. Your reporter in Denver, Jasmine Arenas, joining us live from a food bank site in Westwood. So, Jasmine, how is that community feeling right now?
The immigrant community here in Westwood is feeling fearful of their future here in the United States. And right now, food distribution officials here at this site say that they have a plan in place to ensure that there's safety for those folks who are feeling a bit vulnerable right now. Now, every week, the nonprofit Revision offers fresh, healthy, and culturally relevant food, offers this to the community members in Westwood, which is a predominantly immigrant community in Southwest Denver. Now, the nonprofit is currently serving 800 to now 1,000 families each week after learning that the Trump administration has revoked a policy that prohibited ICE arrests at sensitive locations, which includes schools and food banks. The organization has put a plan in place to protect community members. While the Department of Homeland Security is asking the public to trust ICE agents to use common sense, that's a risk the organization is not willing to take.
Our community is understandably very shaken, scared with the new administration. We are doing what we can to prepare and be proactive and inform our community of what they need to know in order to protect themselves, their families, the community as a whole. The last thing we want is for community to not feel safe in our space.
Now, the new DHS team also informed officials to begin the process of phasing out programs that allowed certain immigrants to stay in the U.S. under the Immigration Parole Authority. We'll have more coming up tonight at 5. In Denver, I'm Jasmine Arenas covering Colorado First.
All right, Jasmine, thank you.
Colorado has joined a total of nearly 20 states filing a lawsuit to challenge President Trump's efforts to end birthright citizenship. That suit, filed in federal court in Massachusetts, argues President Trump's executive order is unconstitutional. Joining me now is Ian Farrell with the University of Denver's Sturm College of Law. He's an expert on constitutional law. So, Ian, thank you so much for joining us. I want to start with this. Why are states opposing this executive order?
Yeah, it's a great question. The reason that states are opposing this executive order is because of the citizenship clause in Section 1 of the 14th Amendment. And so the language there says that any person born or naturalized within the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is a citizen. So they're arguing that it is unconstitutional and in direct violation of this part of the 14th Amendment.
What goes into changing the Constitution? And is that what would have to happen if President Trump's executive order were to go into effect?
So President Trump in the executive order is claiming that his order does not violate the 14th Amendment. If he had to change the amendment, there's a fairly complicated process in Article 5 of the Constitution, which requires 2/3 of both houses of Congress or 2/3 of state legislatures to propose an amendment, and then it would have to be ratified by 3/4 of the states in order to become part of the Constitution.
Can you talk a little bit more about why he believes that this does not violate the Constitution?
Absolutely. The order doesn't specify, but my guess is that it's based on a theory that's been put forward by a small handful of conservative legal scholars, and it rests on the language under the jurisdiction of the United States, or subject to the jurisdiction. The argument that I imagine his lawyers will make is that that does not apply to people who are, where the mother is here, either without documentation or on a temporary visa.
President Trump is giving a 30-day timeline for this to take effect. He's asking federal agencies to stop issuing passports or citizenship documents to children whose parents don't have permanent residency or citizenship. Is that realistic, and how do you think this will play out in the courts?
I imagine this will go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and as it goes through the various stages of litigation, one of the first things that the petitioners will ask for is for an injunction or stay preventing the order from going into effect.
Could be a long time before we finally get something final on this. Ian, thank you so much for your expertise and breaking it all down for us.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.